Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Oh, happy Monday to you. Let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Reese is here. Bake is here. 10:30, Austin Warren is going to join us. 11:30, Amanda Christovich is going to join us. She's basically our cheat code when it comes to the legalities of the college sports world. So she's going to make us all smarter at 11:30 and let us know. Boy, this was late on a Friday when this thing passed. It was real late on. It was a Friday news dump, if there ever was one, that we're going to be paying college players. We'll get into some of that as we go along here. Well, I shouldn't say we're going to be paying college players. The colleges are actually going to be playing college players. But there's a billion little what ifs that lead into this that quite honestly feels never ending to me. So we'll get into that coming up at 9:30, 11 o'clock. We will blitz the weekend. Nice little Saturday. Had a nice little Saturday. Yesterday, not so much. Had a 80th birthday celebration for Aunt Karen up at Sandusky, and so took the boys out on jet skis. We had them for the longest time, and then sold them about 3 years ago when we just were not using them enough. Just there was no way to justify the dock fees and the storage fees and all the rest of it, so we sold them. And here's the deal with a jet ski. It's kind of like Vegas. Like, for a short period of time, it's undefeated. You're never going to have a bad time on a jet ski. It's as good a time as going to be. So naturally, as soon as all of the boys ride and did a little tubing and those type of things, so as soon as they ride, they're on me. We got to get them. We got to get them. I'm like, for what? For 5 times a year when we're able to go to the lake with all of the activities you guys do. But it was a little reminder. And NBC at 13 is close. I think legal age to drive in Ohio is 16. And I think you have to pass like some sort of a test. In Montana, I think it was 8. If you could turn it, there was nobody stopping you from doing anything. I remember doing it when I was very, very young. So that was a win. And then yesterday we had my wife and the two littles stayed up at the lake, and I had to take NBC to a basketball team camp. So after I dropped him off at 4 o'clock, I mean, it was like cats in the cradle around here, man. Like just me and Buddy Garrity staring at each other going, now what? Just you and me, huh? So we had a nice little evening. I ended up watching the NBA Finals game and about 3 episodes of Narcos. So that's how I spent my Sunday night. You guys have good weekends, everybody?
Yeah, it was pretty solid. I, too, was impressed by the NCAA's 9:30 Friday news dump. And then the slew of, like, 2-3 sentence responses. Like, Tony Petitti is alive.
Are we sure?
Well, he released her statement on the settlement. He did. It had his name on it. I can only assume.
Has anyone seen him upright?
They all kind of read as AI generated. Right. So Austin and I had some fun with that on Saturday, just talking about the unseriousness of it all.
Yeah, I mean, you missed this, Bake, because you were calling 66 softball games over the weekend. But like, we've just come to the realization that Tony Petitti's a figment of our imagination. He doesn't actually exist. No one's seen him in months. You were busy, buddy. You were quite busy.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend. Those are always fun weekends, but, man, it's a lot of work. And the rain yesterday up there got us a little bit. So we had we ended up in between our second and third, or our first and second game yesterday. We ended up getting way behind, and we ended up with about a 3-hour rain delay. So I did not get back home and into my bed until midnight last night after 5 straight days, 21 games of the state softball tournament up at Firestone Park. But, man, it was a fun and really good time.
You put an image up of stands packed. What game was that for?
So that was the Division III state championship. It was Dover versus Holland Springfield. And I've been working the state softball tournament up at Firestone Stadium for about a decade now. I think 2014 was the first year I was up there. I've never seen an atmosphere like that. I've seen it as crowded, but it was not as loud. We had noisemakers, we had cowbells, we had train horns. It was a phenomenal atmosphere for that game.
Yeah, and I think you hit the sweet spot about how you're going to get it, because what'd you say, it was Division III?
Yeah, D3.
Yeah. I think that size school is still where you have complete buy-in from town. I think that is it. I think when you start to get a little bit older, and you and I were talking off air, the Division I state championship game was sparsely attended. You see this, right? Other than football, football's like the last completely communal thing where the whole town still go. I still think you get that in many instances, especially if you're lucky enough to not get a private school matchup in a state championship game in football. If you're able to get a community involved, then you're going to get a packed house when it comes to football. But the rest of the sports, it's very, very tricky. And I do think Division III is kind of the last one where, like, if they get to that point, then they're all in. Because I think the rest of it's really tough. And I think it's kind of understandable. There are so many options for kids in high school now. There are so many things for them to do, and they're all into their own thing. And so you support your kid in their thing, and you don't necessarily support kids who aren't yours, even if they are from the same town as you. And I think some of these bigger schools, there's so many opportunity for them and so many ways to kind of find your own niche that the support goes just to that team and not to the school or the community. That's my theory on it anyway. And it feels like it kind of backs up.
Yeah, and it was disappointing last night, Bo, for that Division I final. It's kind of weird the way the divisions got routed for this and how it was. You had two Southwest Ohio teams in the Division I final in Centerville and Lebanon. And Lebanon is a team that's been there a lot. They've been to the state semifinals quite a few times. I've seen them up there multiple times, but they had never won a state championship before, and it was Centerville's first time. And I know that's a long drive from Dayton or Cincinnati to Akron, but the first time these schools had ever had a chance to win a state tournament, and there were probably 200, maybe 300 people in the stands, and it was just a little disappointing. I know Lancaster was there for the first time, and their crowd wasn't the greatest, and they've got a really great pitcher. Lancaster lost in 9 innings. This girl had a no-hitter until the 9th inning, and they lose. She's going to LSU, and it just didn't seem like the support was there.
Yeah, I think it's what I'm saying. I think there's just so many things. And then school's out, right? So that you lose that part of it, too. But I think the big thing is there are so many opportunities for these kids, and they get pulled in a million different directions, and the parents, they support their kid. There's not a lot of cross-sport support, is what I notice at the bigger levels. That's my theory on it anyway, that there's just, you're pulled in so many directions that as a community you can't load up the way that you'd want.
Would it help if it was all in Columbus?
So we were talking about that. Maybe. I mean, that would be more centrally located. It makes no sense that Lebanon would play Centerville for a state title, though. I mean, those are really close to each other. Those should have been in the same region. Right? I mean, why were they not in the same region, or at least why was that at least not a state semifinal?
Well, it got separated a little bit this year, and I mostly only really know this like for football a lot of times, but I do know like Centerville is in a region in football even with the western half of Central Ohio. So like Centerville in football played Dublin Kaufman. I called that game last year in the state playoffs. So Lebanon... and it was weird how it worked out, but Lebanon ended up playing Grove City in their regional final to get there. And then Centerville, I can't remember who they beat to get there, but it's just the way these work out now with the new divisions and rerouting everything to try to make everything equal.
Well, they do a kind of a screwy thing. I know they've done it in Division II where Hoban plays Massillon, has played for like a state championship. Those two schools are 20 minutes apart. There's no reason for that to be a state championship game in Division II. Like those, and they used to play in a regional final, or they play in a state semifinal. But a couple of years ago, when Massillon finally won it, they played in the state championship game. And it's like, well, wait a second, how these two schools are a half hour apart? There's no reason for these two teams to be state champions.
I will.
No, they're the two best teams. They were the two best teams.
And that's some argument that some people have is tricky. Well, if it's the two best teams, who cares where they're from? Let's have them in there. What the OHSAA does, though, is they try to get inclusion with all parts of the state in their state tournaments. So unfortunately, sometimes you do have the two best teams in one region, and one of them doesn't make it to a state tournament.
Yeah, it can happen. I got this from Drew on social. Can you please discuss how the OHSAA holding the state lacrosse championship at historic Crew Stadium is a terrible venue? Fans only allowed on one side of the stadium, opposite side of the players. The kids deserve better. So it was Ignatius and X in the Division I, and then it was Watterson. Congratulations to them. They won the state championship in Division II. They beat Worcester. I can't speak to the setup. I've not been there. It's been a long time since I've been to that stadium to have an idea if it would be good for that or not. It feels like you have a stadium in town that would be perfect called the Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium. The house that Nick Myers built. I mean, that one feels, if you could get in there, that feels like the right place to, and you could, of course you could. I don't know what would preclude that, because the NCAA Lacrosse Championship ends Memorial Day.
So I can't speak to it at a Crew Stadium either. I haven't been there. I've never liked Crew Stadium as a football venue, but maybe that's because my Grove City Greyhounds lost in the playoffs in the first ever football game at Crew Stadium, so maybe that's it. I do know that obviously the track championships are at Jesse Owens, so maybe that's too much. In one weekend there at Ohio State, I'm not sure, but
we can have 110,000 people at the shoe. I think we can have state championships in lacrosse and track at the same places, and I think it's different weekends. Well, no, it's same weekend, so you could do it. Yeah, go to the house that Nick Myers built. Then you're set up on that side of things. A lot going on over the weekend. We will get into that, including feels like anytime the Panthers and Oilers play, it's just going to be an all-time classic, so we'll get into that. The NBA Finals are evened up at a game apiece. And then, of course, looming, it is mandatory minicamp week in the National Football League. So a lot to get to. We're off and running on a Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus and save $40 on any repair of $150 or more. Only at AAA Car Care Plus locations. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer valid through June 30th. See store for details.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Ben Sadler, Assistant Vice President, Commercial Lending, on what makes First Bank of Central Ohio successful.
What we do as a community bank is really, listening to, that company, finding the solutions that best need their business and is not just a universal product that you could get anywhere else.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY, and when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Going up.
Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here. The new weight loss meds are having results. But what happens after you stop taking them? I didn't want to rent my results. I wanted to own them, to keep the weight off. I chose the medication-free solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds. Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
If you're looking for Austin and Berm, The Beat with Austin and Berm now streaming on the Fan's YouTube channel and 10TV Plus on the app. Download the 10TV Plus app today. Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku. Stay locked in with the latest Buckeye talk anytime, anywhere. Prefer to listen? Just search Austin and Berm wherever you get your podcasts. The Beat with Austin and Berm now available on your schedule. Austin will join us in about an hour and 10 minutes from now, and I'm sure he'll have a complete understanding of everything that has to do with the House settlement, the House versus NCAA, and the settlement from the judge who ruled in the favor of that, which we're going to get to in about 10 minutes. We had Stanley Cup Finals on a Friday night. Now, I am just curious if I'm ever going to get to see one of these things go to completion. Perhaps tonight, because I wanted to. God knows I wanted to. It was awesome. It was a great game on Friday. But at the reality is because it won't ever end and because I'm an old man, double overtime, I'm not making it, man. And I did not make it. I did not make it to double overtime. Did either of you guys get there?
No.
Yeah, I did not.
Of course not.
I got back to the hotel. I think the second period of that was starting. Yeah. So I put it on and I was working on game charts, and then I think I ended up falling asleep right at the beginning of the second overtime.
It's like, dude, it just sucks. I mean, because the games are all timers. They've played two games in this thing. Both have gone to overtime. The second and third period in both of these games, they're playing it like it's a game 7. Every single second on the ice is played like a game 7. I mean, it's as good and as entertaining a sport as you're going to find. It's just that, unfortunately, they went to overtime in game 1 and they went to double overtime on Friday. So it's been absolutely classic stuff. Last night with the NBA, they had the extra day in between, which was a bit of a bummer. And I played the same gamble I played in game 1 of this, with the reality that that Oklahoma City was going to take care of business, and they did. And in this instance, Indiana could not come back from it. The story's been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as Reese mentioned in the update off the top of the show. Most points scored through a player's first 2 NBA Finals games, topping Allen Iverson in his first 2 NBA Finals game. That's 24. I think that's 01. That's 24 years ago, something like that. That time Allen Iverson did that. So that series is tied at a game apiece. It kind of went the way that you thought it would. They'll play a game 3 at 8:30 on Wednesday night on ABC. I don't know that they got. I'll be interested to see what the response to the NBA side of this is. I think hockey knows kind of what its ceiling is, and I think this is a tough sell just because of the location of the two cities with Edmonton and Florida. But you do have McDavid, and you've had classic games, so hopefully the word of mouth on that side of things keeps people a little bit interested. The NBA side of it, I'm very curious to see what this looks like over the next couple of days.
Yeah, so game 1 of Panthers-Oilers averaged 2.4 million viewers across TNT and True TV, so it's down 22% from last year, but they had that one in 2024 on ABC.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time. If it's on the network, there's still a great majority of people who look for it on the network. They just do.
I think
it's hard to get away from that.
I think that's a bummer for the NHL too, because there was so much momentum in the NHL back with the, and especially in this town, but with the 4 nations, and then here in town, you rolled that right into the Stadium Series. It seemed like hockey was really like, hey, we're going to have a run here for the end of the year. So that's a little disappointing to hear that those numbers are a little down for them.
Well, I'll get some good news for you, because game 2 was actually 3.6, and that one was on ABC and ESPN+. That was a 46% increase compared to the same game last year. So there's that talk. That's what you're talking about right there. That is that ABC, ESPN. So 3.6 is great.
Yeah, it still matters where you're at.
It does. And it matters where you at. It matters the it matters the network. And then you get, I think, a little bit of word of mouth, right? I mean, McDavid's playing out of his mind, and it's Florida. I mean, so I think that's a nice number for the NHL to get 3.6 on a Friday night for a game 2. I have not checked out the NBA Finals ratings early on to see where worst game 1. Oh, geez. So game 1 was really bad.
Ratings wise, yes.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't a good game either. I refuse people to say it's some great game. It was a great finish. But the game was nothing until the last 4 or 5 minutes of game 1. It was 8.9 on ABC, least watched game 1 since the Nielsen meter era in 1988. So what we were thinking that would be necessary would be you get a classic finish with Halliburton, and the word of mouth leads to Sunday. So we'll see what tomorrow ends up kind of bringing in terms of what people are locked into. I'm far more interested in the NHL than I am the NBA. Normally it's the other way, but I think the McDavid storyline for me is more interesting than anything that's coming out of the NBA side of things. So I don't know if that's just me, but if the two of them are on the same night, I would lean to the NHL more than the NBA. I was watching last night. I had it on the second screen, but it never really captured my attention. And it's hard for me to fake interest in this finals. It just doesn't work. It's not working for me so far.
It's the Connor McDavid story.
That's the thing.
Is pretty fascinating, because we've talked about, Bo, you've talked about his age and how he's so much older than the other greats, the Crosbys, the Gretzkys. I thought this was interesting. I heard this weekend that Gretzky, the first year he went to the finals, he got beat. The next year he came back and won the finals. And I think it was Edmonton versus the Islanders. So he beat a great team.
Yeah,
Crosby
and those guys.
Crosby and the Penguins and the Red Wings. Crosby went, he lost, he came back the next year and he won. McDavid is kind of on that parallel here, and if he wants to really put his name, cement it with the greats of the game, he needs to get this done.
He has to get it done, and there's that. This is why it's interesting to me. Florida's probably the best made team in the sport. Like, they're the blueprint. If you were to try to make a hockey team out of scratch, you'd build the Florida Panthers. They come in waves. They come forever. It's a place that players love to play because there's anonymity. They've got great goalkeeping in Bob when he's on his best. And so they're very duplicable in terms of they're in the mix as long as Bob is around, and they're young and they're talented and they're deep. Edmonton, there's a billion storylines to it, but it's McDavid chasing history, as you just alluded to, chasing Crosby and Gretzky and Lemieux and all of it. There is Canada's drought, which goes back to the early 90s in the sport that they invented and they care most about. And then the other part of it is free agency is looming. And if he goes to market, I mean, he's a free agent after next season. If he goes to market, what is that market? If he wants to reset what players want to get paid, it'll be the highest an NHL player's probably ever been paid. I know they have caps on that stuff now, but
here's
at the
a blank
same time,
check, though. Pretty much.
Like, what do you want? Like, he could go anywhere he wants, and I don't know that he could go to a better place than this. But who knows what his why is? Does he want to live and play his entire career in Edmonton? Who knows? We don't know enough about him. But all of those things give that one a sense of urgency. And on the NBA side of things, I have no sense of urgency. I feel like Oklahoma City is going to play in a lot of these over the next decade. If they don't get it this year, they'll get it down the line. And you guys know how I feel about Indiana. So I don't really want anything good to happen for them.
I will say this on the hockey side of things in this series, and I expect this to be a great series. It was a great series last year. It went to 7 games. These first 2 games have been awesome. Yeah. If I'm Edmonton, I'm a little nervous right now because Barkov and Reinhart haven't even played. They have no points in the first 2 games. Now, their third line has been great. The second line with Tkachuk has been what they are. But that top line for Florida isn't even clicking yet.
No.
I would say it's more than just a little nerves with the series going back to Florida. And you had so much momentum from that moment with Draisaitl in Game 1, and it was taken away by Brad Marchand.
Yeah, that punk.
I mean, he's the worst. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, this is the 2 best teams in hockey, so the NHL does this right. It hopes, you hope that this sets up for Game 7. Or a deep Game 6, because
feels like it, right?
Those are the kind of moments that you need. The games themselves largely forgotten with general hockey fan, but moments help. And similarly with the NBA Finals, but to a lesser extent, because I don't know if the Thunder and the Pacers are the 2 best teams. I know
Oklahoma
the Panthers.
City
Oklahoma City's one of the best. It is probably the best. I don't know if the Pacers are the second best or if they're even top 5 in terms of best team in the league.
Yeah, fair.
The 2 on the hockey side are the best teams in the league.
Yeah, that much is abundantly clear. You want to talk about a Friday night news dump? Can I interest you at 9:30 on a Friday night? We're going to pay players. Do not dismiss the historic nature of this. The way we've done business forever changed Friday night at 9:30. We'll give you the details on this and try to make sense of what it means going forward in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. Put on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
You've probably heard of speed dating, but what if there was something similar for hiring, especially if you're running a growing business? There is Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You can post your job today and talk to interested qualified candidates tomorrow. Simply select a time, and Zip Intro finds and schedules qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you'd like to connect with and meet and greet people through back-to-back video calls starting as soon as the next day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us, because you want your intimacy to be fantastic both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%, and because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you, which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Monday edition of the program. It happened Friday night, 9:30 Eastern. To be honest, it was 5:30 Pacific. So well past their bedtime on the Pacific Coast as well. But it was Friday night, 9:30 Eastern. U.S. District Judge Claudia Wilkin officially approved the House versus NCAA antitrust settlement. Here's what it does. Starting July 1st, Division I schools can directly pay student athletes up to 22% of Power Conference schools' average athletic revenue. I mean, all right, I'm just going to read this first, and then we'll do all the holes poking because there's a billion of them. So that's $20.5 million in 2025-26, $32.9 in 23, all the way by 2034-35, so over the next decade. Student athletes can still receive NIL compensation from third parties, provided those deals are for a valid business purpose. It's hard to even read this stuff without stopping and just poking holes in it as I'm reading it. Like, as determined by a neutral arbiter, these payments would not count towards the above cap. Software and accounting firm Deloitte has been lined up to handle salary cap management and to manage the clearinghouse for NIL. NIL Go will be used to verify whether deals between athletes and boosters or associated entities are for a valid business purpose rather than a recruiting incentive. Good luck with that. I couldn't help myself. Scholarship limits are eliminated in favor of roster limits, so current student athletes and incoming 2025-26 recruits will be exempt from these roster limits for the duration of their college careers. Schools must designate exempt players by July 6th. Once the 25-26 school year starts, all schools must have their sports at or under the roster limit. The NCAA will pay $2.8 billion in back damages over the next decade to student athletes who have competed since 2016 and missed out on NIL opportunities. Per the settlement, these repayments will be divided with 75% going to football players, 15% to men's basketball players, 5% to women's basketball players, remaining 5% to other athletes. Okay, so that's what it does. It's hard to read it and not just have a question almost with every sentence, quite honestly. So let's do something first off the top and just say this was a historic ruling. Historic. We are going to pay college athletes. And by we, I mean the universities are going to pay college athletes. Over the last 30 years, college athletics became a multi-billion-dollar business, and as that area, the gray area became larger and larger, and the money got bigger and bigger, they had to have some way to put their arms around it. This is both an attempt at a make good over the last 9 years, and an attempt to satisfy going forward. I don't think it will really do much of either, because one of the things Judge Wilkins said in her ruling was that this does not prevent anybody else from suing the NCAA. And these numbers are completely arbitrary. This idea of 22% of Power Conference schools' average athletic revenue, first of all, who's opening their books to know all of that? Division I schools. So you're trying to tell me like Ohio State's revenue versus Ohio's? How does that make any sense at all in terms of an equal $20.5 million? Where's this all coming from? Where are these cuts going to come from? All of this goes to the conversation that we have all the time about whether it's the 400 new seats or the suites that are coming to the south stands at Ohio Stadium. All of this is, you have to find money now is what this amounts to. But it's to come up with a number like this that is just kind of completely out of the clear blue sky without it being collectively bargained just sets you up for more and more litigation. To me, I think you've traded, I was going to say you traded one chaos for the other, but I think you still have the previous chaos.
No, it hasn't gone away.
So I think you're going to have the NIL chaos, which has continued to be, I mean, I think this is crazy, this idea that this NIL compensation, provided those details are for valid business purposes, is determined by a neutral arbiter? Who's the neutral arbiter? Who hired the arbiter?
Well, there is a
czar
czar of college football now, or I guess college
who works
sports
for the universities.
Brian Seeley is named the CEO of the new College Sports Commission.
Right, but he works for the university, so he's not neutral,
right,
in any way. So who's going to police this? That it's for recruiting versus what NIL is supposed to be for? How are you going to police it? Is there an army of Pinkertons around the corner that I'm unaware of that they're going to hire to go investigate all this stuff? Because traditional journalism is dead, and that's where a lot of this stuff used to be investigated by newspapers. That's how it used to be investigated. So I have no idea who's going to enforce, who's going to investigate, who's going to enforce. Why would the schools have to listen to it at all? So to me, I don't even know if this is a step in the right direction. I think they've just added another layer of chaos. I mean, we're long past the point where there needed to be compensation because the money got so big, and I think everybody understands that. But in terms of this being some sort of a solution, I just don't see it at all. To me, this feels like you've just added another chaos.
It is one Band-Aid over like a gaping wound. I mean, this is for them to try to make the House class action settlement go away.
Mm-hmm.
And in that settlement agreement, they think that this will help satiate other individuals who feel wronged by the NCAA. And the 930 news dumping of it, interesting because it's both an admission, it's a subtle admission, I think, that what's been done over the past 30 years wasn't great. It was a big error on the part of college athletics to the college athletes. And so this is trying to make up for that in the smallest gesture possible, all while trying to figure out, all right, here's what we're going to try to do moving forward. It reads like a plan, but in reality, we're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because all of this feels like it's open for loss. I mean, you have more questions with everything that you've read.
In the ruling, Reese.
It opens it up for more lawsuits. It doesn't hold anything back.
No.
But what I think they think it's going to do is satiate everybody's desire to get on or to get in line to sue the NCAA, but only for a minute. Because, wait, we got $2.8 billion we're giving to you. So, relax for a sec.
That's fine for everybody going back to 2016. But there's a generation before that has not been compensated. And where is the end of that? There is also this notion of just arbitrarily deciding that $20.5 million or 22% of power conference schools' average athletic revenue. I mean, that's crazy to try to decide that that's the number on this thing, and it's only going to grow $10 million over a 10-year period. That doesn't make any. This isn't collectively bargained in any way. Like they just decided this is what we can live with. Until these folks get real and get serious, I'm just they're in for one more thing after another. And at a place like Ohio State, it's going to leave Ross Bjork with some really difficult conversations that need to be had. Because let's just do the basketball side of this, just play along with me for a second. If you're a Big East school, and let's use St. John's because they have Patino at the moment, and they have a pretty healthy NIL fund. But all of a sudden, you have $20.5 million. How many varsity sports does St. John's have? Not many. Which one matters most? Men's basketball. Can they take their $20.5 million and give 90% of it to men's basketball? Can Gonzaga? You see where I'm going here? Like $20.5 million, even if you gave all of it to 100 and some football players, it's spread pretty thin, right? But all of a sudden, if it's around 15 basketball players, well, that travels, baby.
I also think about like some of the sports, some of the Southern schools with baseball.
Yeah.
Where baseball is a revenue generator and whatnot, but maybe a football program doesn't generate like other sports.
Look what Texas Tech just did in softball.
Yeah.
They got runner-up. They paid the best player on the planet $1 million in NIL to come there from Stanford, mind you. And then they played for the College World Series, got to a Game 3. They lost to Texas. But then they agreed to another NIL deal, paying her $1 million a year. And now they're going to have this on top of it. I don't want to be flip because we're paying college athletes for the first time in the history of the sport, and that's historic. So that happened. Okay, that's big. That's a big deal. But I do think, use the analogy, Reese, a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. I think in a way, yeah, you probably did that, but then you also probably just made another wound in the process that's going to have to be sutured at some point. Because I just think you're setting yourself up for more and more of it. And here's the other thing. For the gross many of you out there, will this affect you at all? Is it going to affect the way that you watch the Buckeyes? I don't think it's going to affect you at all. It's my hunch. NIL didn't affect it. You still went to the games. You still watched the games. It didn't have much effect at all. I don't think this is going to have any effect at all. I think who this is going to affect the most is the non-revenue sports at a place like this one. Because I don't know how you can have 36 sports splitting up $20.5 million and trying to play on a level field with schools that are splitting it up among 16. Like Texas. How does that make any sense? Splitting all that up. So, to me, they just chose more chaos. There's a historic nature of it, but even as I was reading everything that it did, I couldn't even get through a sentence without 6 questions popping up in my head about, well, yeah, what about this? So, Amanda Christovich is going to join us at 11:30. We'll see if she can have some clarity on all of it. This Ben Seeley guy from Major League Baseball who's going to be like the boss. I think this is crazy. Okay. Who's working for him? Who's going to investigate it? Who's going to make sure they don't get sued every time he rules against something? I mean, it's just an utter mess. So we'll get some clarity with Amanda coming up at 11:30 in terms of if she can answer some of the questions that we have. It was a busy sports weekend aside from the NHL and NBA. We'll take a look back at a classic race, a really, really cool race in the Triple Crown, the French Open as well. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. 10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good point out of the loyal listener, the great Snagglepuss. The 9:30 NCAA news dump, NCAA back paying players. This is why the NCAA basketball tournament is probably going to expand, is the question, to help offset the revenue. Yeah, you have to find money. You're going to have to find money institutionally. You're going to have to find money that's out there from a television perspective to give them more TV shows that maybe they'll pay more money for. I think this was really smart and probably ties into why the SEC has not played 9 conference games yet. I think this is part of it, is they're holding out. The French Open was this weekend. You had the Belmont Stakes, which, by the way, was great. Sovereignty held off Journalism. Those two horses. Sovereignty won the Derby. Journalism won the Preakness, and then they battled in the Belmont. Journalism finished second in the Belmont to Sovereignty. Sovereignty took it. It was fun. It was a really cool race, the way that they came down the stretch. But the tennis side of it you start to think about, like, well, how many sports can you have? Like, just think about this. Texas, the University of Texas, has a total, and I would say, don't you think it's fair that Texas is a doppelganger for us? Like, they're comparative. University of Texas, Ohio State, is that the closest southern version of Ohio State? Is probably the University of Texas, if you want to go to that part.
I mean,
it's
in
the SEC, right? Is that the right one?
Yeah, I would say it's as 1-to-1 as you can get.
Me too. I think it probably is. I think the size of the athletic departments, what the expectation is around. I think the expectation here is a little bit higher, perhaps, than it is at Texas. But in terms of the size and scope of it, I think they're very similar. The cities are very similar, both boom towns. The University of Texas has 17 total varsity sports. 17 total. They only have 7 men's scholarship sports. 10 women. 7. Ohio State, by comparison, has 18 men's sports. Now, I don't know how they divvy up, those scholarships through 18 men's sports versus 7 for Texas. But that's where you're going to run into the problem, and that's what you fear for here. On the women's side, at Ohio State, you're looking at, 3, 6, 8, 7, 20, 15, 21 women's sports for a total of 38 sports. Is that where you ended up with? So how do you even begin to do all of that? And is there enough found money out there to satisfy all of this? because I just don't think there is. And I think that's the part that's going to suck. I think there are non-revenue sports that are probably the epitome of what college athletics are supposed to be, that are going to be sacrificed. The one thing, as I say that, though, that also is real is, unfortunately, this is the truth on it. You're not entitled as an Ohio State athlete in a sport that isn't football, primarily football, men's basketball to a lesser degree. And I suppose that there might be some other revenue generators out there. You'd have to really open the books to see if, some of these other ones, you see some of these crowds for women's volleyball or wrestling or lacrosse sellouts. Like, I don't know if those are revenue, if those break even, or if they're all taking a loss. I'm not sure on that. But you're going to have to decide what sports you want to have. And you're going to have to decide where your resources are spent, because you can't have a competitive imbalance in the sport that pays for all of it or most of it. And that's where you're headed right now when you're talking about 7 men's sports at the University of Texas and 18 at Ohio State. That math is not going to be in the favor of the Buckeyes. And that does suck. So some of them may go back to being what they were intended to be, which is true college athletes. And you're on a team and you get some Nike gear, but that's kind of it. Almost like club.
And we look at everything Ohio State-wise through the football lens. And we think, why would anybody ever leave Ohio State? Why would anybody ever want to leave this school? This is the epitome of where you want to be. But we just saw, after the great year that the softball team had and an awesome year from their catcher, Jasmine Burns, she enters the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? The NIL money is better at other programs than it is here for softball players. So she's going to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are like, well, why would you ever leave Ohio State? Well, there's more opportunities there already. And if this is the way it is, and Ohio State is going to continue to try to use their athletic revenue to pay these players in all these sports, that piece of the pie is going to be smaller, and it's going to be larger other places.
I love a good pie analogy. It's so much a part of Gene Smith's legacy at Ohio State was how many Division I NCAA sports that the Buckeyes fielded, how much of that area with when you're Jesse Owens and all of that just has his fingerprints all over it. And that's what I think makes this even more of a difficult bridge to try to cross, because that's going to have to go. You're going to have to take some of those numbers down. I mean, those numbers are going to have to come down. And those sports that get cut, you have to figure out, well, what is in the best interest of the Ohio State Athletic Department as a business, and what does not operate in that realm. And then you probably relegate those to club. And you take a lot of opportunities away from kids who've always, to Baker's point, dreamt of playing their given sport at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. But this has to be operated on as a business. I mean, that's why you're seeing Tony Petitti, a television guy, run an athletic conference like the Big Ten. They bring in the college sports commissioner czar. Well, he's a baseball lawyer. None of these are brought in for the college athletic experience or the student athlete experience that the NCAA championed for 30-plus years. This is all about money. This is all about revenue. And this is all about who can bring in the most. And that's even why you hear Ryan Day last week come out and stump for 4 automatic qualifying spots for the conference, because those turn into units, and that equals more revenue. Because as this college football playoff expands, the revenue is going to go up. And the more revenue you're able to generate, the less problems like this you'll have to deal with. Money is...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, cash rules everything, but more money does equal more problems.
It does, and it's also the thing that is going to be, from Ryan Day's perspective, is how do I make sure my football team gets the same amount as the Texas football team? Because that's who I'm recruiting against. I'm recruiting against Texas. So I can't have Longhorn players making more money than Buckeye players. And you can't just rely on boosters and NIL to make up the difference. And it's depth of roster. It's not just the frontline guys. It's everybody wants their piece of it. Yeah, there are going to be some really. I do not envy Ross Bjork over the coming years. It's going to be very, very tricky. One model that would make a lot of sense is the NFL model. It's pretty straightforward. That would certainly work very well for college football if anyone had the guts to actually do it. The NFL mandatory minicamp week starts today. Lots of action around the AFC North. We'll get you set for what to expect coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Van is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas!
Then it's off to Rome,
Georgia!
And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Cabinets and lighting fixtures, too. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Pop Road in Whitehall. 24-month financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends June 22nd. Dealers welcome.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Lindsay Automotive is Central Ohio's big certified pre-owned outlet. LindsayCertified.com makes it easy to find the right car at the right price. All models include certified warranties and inspections, new car financing, and more.
Up to 1,000 pre-owned to choose from.
No matter what kind of vehicle you're looking for, Lindsay has it. Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. You'll love the shopping experience, whether online or in person.
Shop LindsayCertified.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped,
And you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NBA Finals is all tied up after the Thunder beat the Pacers last night, 123-107 in Game 2 in OKC. League MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 34 in the win. Through 2 games in the series, SGA's got 72 points. That's the most by any player through their first 2 finals games in NBA history. The series now heads to Indianapolis for Game 3 Wednesday night at 8:30. In the NHL, the Panthers host the Oilers in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Face off from Sunrise is 8:30 tonight. Florida won in Edmonton this past Friday, 5-4 in double OT. And in baseball, both the Reds and Guardians won on Sunday. They'll meet tonight in Cleveland at 6:40. You can hear that game on The Fan following the Buckeye Show. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI Federal Credit Union. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour on a Monday edition of the program. I did see this in the last couple of minutes from Joey Kaufman of the Dispatch. Ross Bjork's plan on the revenue share, $18 million will be spent on athletes, and then the remaining will go into a scholarship fund, and they'll try to create more of them. I think what you're curious about is really the majority of you out there just want to make sure that football has a level playing field and has the same advantages they've always had. I saw somebody on, it was Jay, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name of the Sports Center anchor? He's talking to Pete Thamel about it and said, well, will this allow for more parity in college athletics? And as he was asking the question, I just thought to myself, there's never been parity, ever. In college athletics, the haves have beaten the have-nots forever. That didn't change with NIL. I don't think it's going to change with this either. So that will be the job for Ross Bjork and Ryan Day and everybody, is to make sure that the compensation for football matches what it is at places like Texas and Oregon and Alabama and Georgia. That's the job. A straightforward way to handle this would have been an NFL model for football. There's a million things that probably could have been done along the way to keep you from this point, but that is one of them. Many coaches have asked for an NFL model, and they just can't get there because they don't want to call it what it is, which is pay for play entirely, even though that's what it's going to be by the time this thing comes through in about a month. NFL mandatory minicamps start today around the league. There's 2 that have already been done. I think the Bears did theirs last week, and it looks like the Lions opted out of their mandatory minicamp, which is strange for Dan Campbell. So that's a big change for him, as he's opting out of his mandatory minicamp. But around the AFC North, you're going to have some attention getters. Obviously, most of the attention will be in Pittsburgh, as Aaron Rodgers is going to run out onto a practice facility in a Pittsburgh Steelers number 8. The punter wears number 8 in Pittsburgh, but I'm guessing that will be reassigned. I saw him already on the roster wearing number 8. So this will be Rodgers getting up to speed in Pittsburgh, and it will be just kind of a feeling out of what he's got left in the tank and what he can bring to them. It's funny. I had somebody, I can't remember if it was on email, on social, who was a Steelers fan, saying that they're not happy with this. Even a Steeler fan wasn't happy with this, which seems odd to me. I don't know how you could. What other options do you have? He is better than the options that were out there. He was the best of the remaining, and maybe I just believe he's still got more in the tank. I have no delusions of grandeur. I don't think that he will be what he was like in Green Bay 4 years ago. But I think he's certainly going to be an improved upon of what they got last year with the combination of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they won 10 games with that group. So in an offense where they're going to have a pretty solid run game, they've got a couple of weapons at the tight end position. They got DK Metcalf and a great defense. It's a brutal division, obviously. But do I think they could win 11? Would it shock me if they somehow won the division? No, not really. I don't think that seems so out of the question. Obviously, Baltimore's the big favorite, though.
I think it goes to show you how far Aaron Rodgers has fallen in the past couple of years in the court of public opinion, where people are just fed up with him and they don't think he's probably still a little better than middle of the road production from what you saw last year, even though the Jets were so bad that they don't feel like the circus with him is worth that. I will say, Bo, when I saw that he said he was going to wear number 8, I was so disappointed. Because I wanted that phone call to Terry Bradshaw to just be like, hey, you care if I know nobody's worn it since you and it's technically not retired, but would you mind? Like, I'm so disappointed we didn't get that phone call.
Feels like the Steelers organization just isn't the type of organization that would allow nonsense like that. Like Terry can kind of do what he wants. Let's just make it simple, put on 8, and let's make this about football. Like other organizations, I think, would maybe play into that a little bit, but Pittsburgh historically doesn't feel like that. Yeah, let's bring in some more nonsense already on top of what Aaron Rodgers brings you. The floor on this is 500, right?
Yes, right.
So I think that's where people are at with Aaron Rodgers. I think for the most part, like you'll get obviously extremes, but a lot of it's been apathy. And I was a little surprised when I heard all of the apathy from Steelers fans, but. I think they think at the very worst, we're still going to be 500 in this and fighting for a playoff spot until the very last week of the season. Now, maybe the ceiling gets a little bit higher. Do they go AFC Championship game? Do they go deep playoff run? Or some thinking Super Bowl? Maybe, but I don't think anybody in Pittsburgh's going, yeah, we're this now puts us a possibility of being under 500.
I remember last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember what it was, when one of the two, when the Jets signed Rodgers, and USA Today picked the Jets to be like 12-5 or 13-4 and end up going to the Super Bowl. And I thought that was ridiculous because I didn't think the Jets roster was there. But like you said, Bo, this Steelers team, it doesn't matter who quarterbacks them. They're 500 team, right? 500, 9-8. That's the median line. That's the average line for Pittsburgh. So if Aaron Rodgers comes in here and they win 11 games and make a run in the playoffs, that seems more feasible to me. It's just funny how people, Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, they're going to be great now, and he goes to the Steelers, a team who's pretty good without him, and they're like, whatever.
Yeah, I know a guy with 2 thumbs who also thought that the Jets would be really good when Aaron Rodgers signed there, and it's this guy. I mean, I thought that would be a playoff team. He just was great in Green Bay. I saw no reason to believe that he would not give them a boost. You looked at the talent that they had. You think about Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and all the weapons. And their defense had stars on it too. Sauce Gardner. It just felt like, and we'll never know because he blew his Achilles in the first game.
Yeah.
So you'll never know what he could have looked like. So he lost that year, and then last year he's recovering from the Achilles, and so you never saw it. So I don't know what it could be. To me, I think what Reese said, and this is kind of the pushback that I got back from Steelers fans, is like, this just isn't worth it for us. And we're not the type of organization that wants the circus. But maybe Rodgers will have a respect for Tomlin, and there won't be one. That's kind of probably the best case scenario on this. But I'm with you. I think the floor is 9-8. They're not going to be worse than that if he stays healthy.
I always judge these moves, and I know the experienced quarterback matters more in the playoffs, and that happened in this scenario. But I always judge these moves regular season-wise by Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, and he brought people with him. There's no doubt that roster that was good got better because Tom Brady brought people with him. They went from a 9-7 team in the regular season to an 11-5 team in the regular season. So the quarterback, it can matter some, but these older guys, I don't think they're going to change it that much. But where it does come into play is when you get that guy in the playoffs and that experience.
I think that's it. That's the if you're a Steelers fan, you say, okay, win a game in the playoffs. And then it's a success. Make the postseason. They do that almost every year. But then when you get there, win a game. And then that will be, I think, how you judge success of Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, down in Cincinnati, the Trey Hendrickson situation is going to loom over minicamp. They also have the first-round pick situation that's going to loom over minicamp as well. I have no delusions of grandeur that Hendrickson's going to be done this week. That, to me, goes into camp. I think it'll be something that even goes well into camp. because it feels like he's pretty dug in, and it feels like they're pretty dug in. So I think this is just kind of the circus that they're going to operate in over the next. That being said, though, I don't think he's going to miss any games. I think he'll play. I just don't think you want to give that money up. So I think even if they don't do a new deal, I think that he's going to play. But I do think that there's no reason for him to participate in mandatory minicamp at all. The first round pick is Shamar Stewart. Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. That thing is pretty weird. That part of it. And I'm sure what he wants is, my guess is it's bonus driven, that he wants money up front now, and the Bengals are being a little bit more hesitant in terms of that.
It seemed like there were a little red flags around this guy and his character even before the draft. Like, I don't think there was any doubt about his physical ability. It seems like the Bengals just may have missed on this one.
I think the physical traits are there because you look at him, he's an action figure. But it was interesting watching the NFL draft when they had the college game day guys react to this pick live and in real time. And I think Herb Street said something to the fact of, we talked about him before the game. We talked about him during the week. And then once the game actually happened, you didn't hear his name.
Yeah.
And so you're drafting on, you're using that kind of a pick on potential. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, and that will be something we pay a lot of attention to this week down in Cincinnati. Meantime, up 71 North in Cleveland, all eyes will be on the quarterback, but a bit of a body blow for Browns fans over the weekend as a beloved star is going to play somewhere else. We'll have the details on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are only $3.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds. Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on The Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and as always, we are sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. I feel like I can say this with relative certainty. I think Nick Chubb is the most popular Cleveland Browns player since Bernie Kosar. I think it's him.
Yeah.
I think Miles is close.
Joe Thomas would be in there in that discussion.
No question the Hoff would be, but I think tackle makes that a little tougher.
If we're doing 4, I'd say, and this is going to be hilarious to everybody, not a Browns fan, maybe kind of sad for Browns fans. Phil Dawson, Joe Thomas, Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb. Those are the 4 most popular Browns since the team returned in '99.
And honorable mention, Joe Flacco.
Yeah, you could do an honorable mention list with Josh Cribbs. You know,
he had a hell of a month. Josh Gordon was incredible. I mean, there's moments out there, but no, I think it's Chubb. I think he's the number one guy. So over the weekend, you get the news from Jerry Fowler of ESPN that Nick Chubb and the Houston Texans have agreed on a contract. So I don't know if anything official has been done on that. Has that? It's expected to sign.
I think he needs to pass a physical. Yep.
Yeah, it's all pending the physical. Nothing has been announced officially yet on that front.
And that's a big if.
Yeah, well, it is because it's a lot of health stuff with Nick, unfortunately. You could see the writing on the wall with this when the Browns drafted 2 running backs. You also have to, and this isn't pay attention to the scores, this is just a little bit of common sense. I think you also have to realize that this is a 29-year-old man who's played 10 games over the last 2 seasons, who had a catastrophic knee injury for the second time in his life, and then had a second surgery last season as he was trying to come back. No one would ever want to doubt Nick Chubb because, quite honestly, if you were to design, and Kevin Stefanski said this before, but if you were to say, go ahead and build the perfect football player, it's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, he does not care about swag. He does not care about anything. He cares about playing football, lifting weights, and showing up ahead of schedule, staying late, working his tail off, running with such a violent, such a violence to the way that he runs, and his ability to break away prior to the injuries was just unbelievable. He really was. He was the ultimate weapon. It just sucks that what happened to him in Pittsburgh, because who knows where the career would have gone had he been healthy over the last 2 seasons, his 27 and 28-year-old season, coming off of a 1,500-yard season, which is what he was doing. I know that there are folks who wanted the Browns to bring him back. It takes 2 to tango on that. And when you draft the 2 rookie running backs, that's probably kind of where that goes, is you draft those 2 guys and you're on to the next. And you have to be, I think they did right by Nick Chubb bringing him back last year. Coming off of the catastrophic injury, they brought him back because they knew how important he was to the building and how important he was to the franchise and to the fan base and all of it. But some of this is just the reality of a man approaching 30 with a bunch of wear and tear on the tread and a couple of catastrophic knee injuries. And the reality is he's probably never going to get back to anywhere near where he was. But he was at his best as good a time as you're going to have watching a running back run in the NFL. I mean, it was like Derrick Henry and then him.
I'll even argue there was a year or two there that maybe it was Nick Chubb. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was that darn good. It's I actually, Bo, I wish he would have sat all of last season out, because even when he was in, he just didn't look the same. And when you're coming back from an injury like that, that's so devastating, and I know he's a freak of an athlete and his legs were in such good shape that the muscles around helped the knee and all of that stuff. I just wish he would have sat the whole year out and he would have come back to Cleveland fresh this season. I thought all along he was coming back, and then when they drafted Sampson, I was like, okay, I've got to resign myself to the fact that Nick Chubb is leaving. And I don't get too attached to players anymore. I haven't for quite some time, but this one hurts me as a Browns fan.
The thing with last season was the Browns needed something, and Nick Chubb was hoping to provide that something. And I think Nick Chubb, if Nick Chubb's got the doctor giving him a thumbs up, he's out. He's out on that football field. And I think that's what connected him so well to the Browns fan base. There was that article in the Players Tribune, but Cleveland fans, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, love to think of themselves as the hardest working people in the world. And Nick Chubb is one of the hardest working NFL players I think many of us have ever seen. And that went so hand in hand with each other that relationship was just so positive the entire time Chubb was in was in the organization. I mean, they drafted him. At any point he was a home run hit. It was very much a callback to Peyton Hillis and those kinds of players do so well in that market with that fan base. But the idea that they're paying him almost $3 million last season, they got Quinshawn for like $850 is the cap. Cleveland didn't have any money. And so Chubb's going to require more than what you can pay a rookie. And as soon as they took Quinshawn, it was like, that was the final, I think, nail in that coffin.
He was a 4-time Pro Bowler in Cleveland. He was a second-team All-Pro in Cleveland. He did something that only Jim Brown previously had done, which is start his career with every year, the first 6 years of his career, he averaged over 5 yards a carry. It's him and Jim Brown. 5.2, 5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.0, and then in the injury short, he was off to that start. He was averaging 6.1 a carry. His yards per game as a rookie, and remember, they went with Carlos Hyde to begin with, and then finally they started giving him the rock. He averaged 62 yards a game as a rookie, 93 in his second year, 88.9, 89.9, 89.7, 85.0. It very much reads like a Pujols stat line in St. Louis, where like every year it was 330, 47, 130. It's kind of like that with Chubb. I think 2 things jump out to me just personally with Nick Chubb. Number one, I did not hear a single word. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember the last game of his rookie year when he went over 1,000 yards and then went under it? He was tackled for a loss and went under it. And Freddie Kitchens was determined to get Baker Mayfield the rookie touchdown accounted for record. And so they would have Baker like sneak it inside like the 3-yard line. They would try to get those things to get Baker that record. Nick Chubb finished with 996 yards. Not a single peep from Nick Chubb about being disappointed by not getting over 1,000 yards as a rookie. He was 4 yards short. Not a peep. Not one peep. The other thing that was really cool is how the relationship that he had with Kareem Hunt. So could not be 2 more different individuals, other than they both ran with quite a bit of intensity to them. But in terms of their makeup, in terms of their sense of humor, their sensibilities, the way they go about their business could not be more different. Those two as Batman and Robin was awesome. And I think he got the best out of Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt helped get the most out of Nick Chubb in terms of his personality. Like the rare time you'd see Chubb smile is around Kareem. There's something Kareem could make him laugh. But you rarely saw it. Like, if you Google image search Nick Chubb, you're going to see that image of him in high school, like, jumping over doing, like, a standing, like, jump over the kid who's up to, like, his waist that he's running the 100 meters in. And they're going to see images of him, like, straight ahead. You rarely see image of him smiling, but Kareem got that out of him. When they did him in the dog pound walkout, when they honored him, and he kind of limped out after the surgery, the place was absolute electric factory. So he's beloved. He deserves all of the adulation. It's just one of those, just sucks that he wasn't able to finish it, because his career through the first 5 seasons is a gold jacket career. And he didn't need much more. I mean, at running back, if he just stays healthy till he's 30, and instead of 5 straight seasons to start the career, there's 7 even, it's probably enough. It's probably enough. It's right there. But the injuries derailed it, unfortunately. Obviously, minicamp up there, everything will be on the quarterbacks. That's what it'll entirely be. My hunch is either that Pickett would get the first reps, and then Flacco will be in there, and then they'll work the young guys in underneath. Go ahead, Reese.
There could be a time where I might just send you an email in the morning with Brown's questions I need answered by the end of the show. And we just work them in. Is there any chance in the mandatory minicamp Shedeur Sanders gets reps with the 1s or 2s? Because you can quarterback chart that, but I'm not interested in roster fringe
2s.
Guys. Okay.
He'll get some 2s. They saw that and he could get some 1s too. I mean, last week, Dylan Gabriel got some 1s. So he could do that. But one thing about Shedeur is he's going to have to earn all of that. And that's on the field. It's on the whiteboard. It's all of those things. So he'll have to earn it, but he could see a little bit of that. They just don't have a lot of reps to go around is the issue. They don't have that many 1s to run out there. So some of that's a part of it too.
Well, it was interesting when I was up in Akron this past weekend driving around, and I wasn't driving around much, obviously, maybe 10 minutes to and from the hotel to the stadium. I was listening to 92.3 The Fan up in Cleveland, and it was all the talk the whole time was about Cleveland's quarterback situation. And I heard not a peep about Kenny Pickett and all of them saying, Joe Flacco or one of the rookies has got to be the starter. Joe Flacco or one of the rookies. And I felt like they had the same Kenny Pickett mentality that I had. Like, I've seen enough. I don't need to see this anymore.
Listen, I think this is the real truth. Kenny Pickett is going to get every single opportunity to be the starter. Now, what Kenny Pickett does with that this week at mandatory minicamp and what he does with that at training camp is entirely up to him. But I think that he will get every opportunity to be the starter those first 6 games. And I think Joe Flacco is kind of the break glass in case of emergency guy is probably the way that goes. And then it's Dylan under that, and then Shedeur quite a ways behind. You got to remember, they took Dylan ahead of Shedeur. I think that gets missed. Like
it's not sexy to talk about Dylan Gabriel.
It's not, but like they picked him ahead of him. So that tells you kind of how they view the two of them. All right, we'll have do a little football chatter and a lot of business chatter with Austin Ward in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Check it. Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double. Check it. Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly. Check it.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,000 off BX 2380 tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by CEC Turf and Tractor in Athens, Canal, Winchester, Lancaster, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota tractors and mowers, or check them out online at CECTurfandTractor.com.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Double your savings with Logan Services. Save up to $3,200 on a qualifying air conditioning and heating system, and ask about tax credits up to $3,200. Call for your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Indeed he is, and he's part of The Beat with the great Jeremy Birmingham, 10 TV Plus. Joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. 9:30 on a Friday, huh? That's when we're going to do this thing, bud?
Yeah. What do we call that in our industry, Bo? A little news dump.
That's extreme.
Normally you do that at like 5 o'clock,
right?
And you hit send, and then you punch out for the weekend. They waited until 9:30, and then they all decided to pat themselves on the back without really acknowledging the fact that this doesn't preclude future lawsuits. So not everything has been solved, but as you and I have talked about on a number of Mondays for as long as we've been doing this, at least this is a step in the right direction, that they are acknowledging that the universities and the athletic departments can and should and will be paying the players. But then the other thing that we always talk about when it comes to rules and regulations and guardrails is that eventually they're going to need the players to be able to collectively bargain, to sign contracts. So I'm going to neatly sum all that up into one, while also saying it was pretty disappointing the way that they rolled it out on Friday night.
I said this in the first hour, buddy. I don't want to be flip with this because this is historic. We are going to pay college athletes. So that's never happened above board from the universities before. We've been doing the NIL thing for a while, and it happened under the table for years. But this is now salary. So I don't want to be flip with that this isn't anything, because it's definitely something, to your point. Let's do this from the football perspective, because that's 99.9% of the things that you and I discussed. If you're Ryan Day, and now all of a sudden you're going to be able to compensate your players, and it's this, I saw reporting this morning, $18 million, it sounds like it's going to be split up among however it goes. Ohio State currently has more men's sports scholarship than Texas has total sports. If you're Ryan Day, how can you operate in a world, or you have to be certain that you operate in a world where everyone on your roster makes what Texas's guys make, right? I mean, that's got to be his concern.
It is, and it's Mark Pantoni's concern, and it's Ross Bjork's concern, and I think in some ways the NIL Go piece of this is so that they can all monitor each other, and that they don't get in secret backdoor bidding competitions that they're not in, or that the players can play off of against each other, and that they might be able to get some more information. That's sort of an offshoot out of what you're talking about. But I think that the thing that has stood in everyone's way from progress with college football specifically, but college athletics as a whole, is first this notion that you needed to pay the players, and then second, that they view everyone as competition off the field, and that they don't work collaboratively when it comes time to sit down for broadcast deals or NIL situations or roster salary caps, roster scholarship numbers. Part of the issue that we had in the build-up to Friday night's agreement with the House settlement was that you had schools arguing over how many players needed to be on a roster, how many scholarships could count, could you grandfather them in. They were still fighting and arguing and bickering over that until the very last minute. So this becomes the next challenge. It's not as it's not a new one. Ohio State and Ryan Day were having to pay attention to all of that before when it came to distribution of the salary cap and trying to work with the collectives as much was allowed within the rules, and how much other programs were paying attention to that. I can't really speak to it, but this is another thing. It's another reason why Mark Pantoni needed the raise that he needed, because he's got another piece of responsibility on his plate to manage with that part. And it's going to only become more difficult. The conversations are going to be more challenging when you spread around that money. And the truth is, for the best rosters in college football, that 18 to 20 million is not going to be enough anyway. So the fun is truly just beginning with this, Bo. As I said, like, if they wanted to take a victory lap on Friday night, by all means do that. They did accomplish something significant, but they are nowhere near done with this process.
No, and I think it literally is, as I was reading it on the show, buddy, every sentence, I couldn't even really get through a sentence without saying, yeah, but what about this?
Yeah.
But what about this? And what about that? And it's that part of it's never ending. And as you mentioned, the fact that they could continue to litigate going forward. The other thing that I think is just crazy about this is, so you're going to have this new czar that is going to try to administer all of this, but with what army is he going to investigate, and who's going to be the one to enforce it? So I'm very dubious to think that anything is going to get done on that side of things. The other thing that's pretty crazy was, so this is the number that 22 million that they came up with. That was average revenue of all Division I. Yeah. We're still living in this world where, like, Ohio State and I'll use your beloved Wyoming Cowboys, where they're operating under the same rules. These two things are not similar.
They're not, and I like to use Wyoming as that example as well, because I know what their financial situation is. I know how much they're going to contribute to their roster, and frankly, they can't afford to compete in the same in any sport really as Ohio State. We've all lauded college basketball as well. The Mountain West Conference can compete with the Big Ten, the SEC, because the size of the roster is small. If that's what you choose to spend it on, well, fine. That may or may not be true, but college football is certainly not an apples to apples comparison between those programs. And it's how we get down this road where we're fantasy booking, super conferences and promotion and relegation. And none of that is a real solution for it either. And having a college sports commissioner czar, whatever, that's not going to solve it either. Because as you mentioned, when it comes to subpoena power or investigative power, they're not going to have that. This group is probably more limited, in all honesty, than what the NCAA had as the Committee on Infractions wrapped up its work over the weekend with some intrigue for the rivalry there to go forward and see what happens there. But I think they actually had a greater chance of instituting those rules in the NCAA model. Now we'll see if I'm proven correct on that with the CFC, because it doesn't feel like it is designed for anything other than the financial aspect of college athletics and college football more specifically, which there's no problem with that. But in terms of like on-field rules and regulations, their hands are probably a bit more tied than they actually were before.
Do you think Michigan's going to get hit pretty good here?
I do. I think they have to. Some of this is my own opinion, and some of this is also just conversation with other college football coaches, assistant coaches, athletic directors across the country. I think in general, the no more casual, quote unquote, college football fan has checked out on this. The games happened for Michigan. They won the national championship. Yeah, it was a silly punchline. They've moved on. That's certainly not the case in Ann Arbor, where they are fighting tooth and nail to avoid punishment. And I don't think that that's the case in Columbus, where they were more directly impacted by this than anybody else. So, but when it comes to an integrity of the game situation, this is not hamburgers, not recruiting inducements, not NIL. This was cheating of the game itself. You look around, coaches and players are way more outraged about this than maybe again the casual fan. And I don't mean that in a negative term, but the ones that aren't paying as close attention to it or didn't know that Michigan was in front of the Committee on Infractions over the weekend, they probably don't care. But I think everyone seems to have some level of agreement that what would be most fair is a postseason ban this year, because going back and stripping them of the championship is not going to do anything. Stripping the record books of the wins is not going to do anything. And I've said this to you a number of times. I believe, and many other people believe, that it's got to be forward-facing. And when people use the argument of, well, the current players weren't part of that, it doesn't matter. They're free to leave. The program itself, lack of institutional control. Michigan, the body, has to feel it. And the players, if they don't want to stick through that process for a year, the way the 2012 Buckeyes did, so be it. But that cannot be a concern in handing out this punishment, in my opinion.
Yeah, I am curious I'm curious if Tony Petitti is upright, because we never see him. He can release statements, but we never see him say anything. But also, can the Big Ten afford for Michigan to fall off the cliff? Because I don't think that it can, honestly, buddy. I think you need Michigan with Ohio State to carry this. You think about Big Noon and all of that stuff. They're dependent on Michigan being real.
Yeah, and
which is brutal, that part of it.
And that's why I don't know, because we hear so infrequently from Tony Petitti. We've got 6 weeks until he gives his State of the Big Ten address in Vegas.
Right.
I guess that'll be the next time we hear from him. That this would be a true test of that. I thought Tony Petitti was pretty, Michigan was threatening lawsuits when he suspended Jim Harbaugh for 3 games 2 years ago, and he didn't back down from that. So even though he seems largely beholden to the financial interests and the broadcast partners, I think he's mostly done what is right for the rest of the constituents in the league. And all 17 of them, I think, agree that if you have to sacrifice a little bit of prestige for Michigan on the field this year in the greater good of college football, that's what they would like to see done. And Ohio State games in 2012, they still drew really good ratings, and they provided a good story and went undefeated. We all know that here. I don't think Michigan has a team that's capable of doing that, but there would still be enough, I think, storyline-wise with Michigan. If they roll with Underwood, I think people would still be paying attention anyway throughout the regular season, and they could try and play spoiler in a bunch of situations, and that people would tune in for that. I'm not saying that you give them a death penalty. I'm not saying you don't let them play out the season, but the postseason is going to have to move on without them.
Good talk as always, buddy. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you both. See ya.
All right, there he goes. Austin Ward with The Beat with Jeremy Birmingham on 10 TV Plus, joining on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Shop Meijer and bring more to Father's Day with tasteful gifts that are perfect for the grill, like a certified Angus beef T-bone steak, now just $9.99 a pound. Locally grown asparagus for $1.87 a pound. Select varieties of Johnsonville brats are $3.99. And don't forget Dad's dessert. Select varieties of Hudsonville ice cream are just $3.99. Make Dad's Day a good deal better at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com for details.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $4,500. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today.
Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Lindsay Automotive is Central Ohio's big certified pre-owned outlet. LindsayCertified.com makes it easy to find the right car at the right price. All models include certified warranties and inspections, new car financing, and more.
Up to 1,000 pre-owned to choose from.
No matter what kind of vehicle you're looking for, Lindsay has it. Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. You'll love the shopping experience, whether online or in person.
Shop LindsayCertified.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Monday. Hit it, guys.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
We're going to have Amanda Christovich of Front Office Sports join the program at 11:30. She has the distinct honor, privilege of joining, I think, the world's lamest Zoom meeting right now. Greg Sankey and the other 4 5 commissioners are meeting to discuss the House versus NCAA settlement. Greg Sankey, this is from Pete Thamel, who's also part of that Zoom press conference. Man, my eyes would glaze so far over this. Like, I'd have like the space background on, or I'd be riding a roller coaster in the background, but these guys are just in their blank offices. But from Greg Sankey, quote, "This decision also brings us to a point of having the opportunity for stability and fairness. Calls it a significant step forward for college sports. Says that, quote, "This decision also brings us to a point of having the opportunity, blah, blah, blah," and says congressional activity remains important. Thing or not a thing?
So I think it can be sort of a thing. I think it is a thing that that they were dragged kicking and screaming into finally paying for the labor. I'm not going to dismiss that as nothing. It's something that they're doing that. I also think that they've opened up a million other cans of worms with this, and that there's no end in sight for litigation. I think enforcement's going to be borderline impossible. I think there's a billion questions for every answer that it provides. Have you seen on this? Is there anyone quoting Petiti, or is it just Yormark and Sankey?
So I'm starting to wonder if the Tony Petiti image, maybe it's just a freeze frame, and he just threw it up there.
All the quotes I'm reading on it this morning are Sankey and Yormark. I don't see Petiti on anything.
This is a thing because it makes me so happy we have people like Amanda Christovich that will go cover this so I don't have to, or we don't have to, you know. I get so sick of, though, you guys already know this. Like, when you say congressional and getting the government involved, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I just lose all interest in it. And maybe that's the only way. But can't we find a group of grown-ups to take care of this and let government do what they need to do and deal with other things in the world? Like, I hate it when government gets involved in sports. Somebody stand up and be a grown-up and get this stuff fixed.
I mean, Petiti, did he have gray hair the last time we saw him?
Yeah, I don't know.
I see him in a freeze frame.
So I don't see, nobody's recorded video of this video. You just see these, like, stills. And I don't think the Petiti image has moved.
Well, why? Are we sure he's breathing? Someone check in.
Like, some of these, the quotes are incredible. And again, Amanda's going to join us at 11:30. Enforceable rules is a phrase that they've put out from this settlement, is going to give this Brian Seeley guy the power to have enforceable rules. It's a mess, but Amanda will help clear up what was said again at 11:30. According to Sports Media Watch, last Thursday's Game 1 of the NBA Finals averaged a 4.7 rating and 8.91 million viewers on ABC. That's the lowest rated and least watched finals opener since Nielsen began tracking them in 1988. It does exclude 2020 and 2021 from the pandemic. Thing or not a thing?
Well, it's a huge thing because it's the business of it. The NBA is a little different because they are global. So, I mean, they're also people that watch that sport all around the globe. So I think their media rights are a little bit different because of that. I don't care who wins. I do this for a living. I have no rooting interest. I guess Oklahoma City, but it's really valedictorian of summer school. And the only reason I would like Oklahoma City, but I mean, I'm pissed at them too. They're the Sonics. Like, they were handed that, they've had 3 MVPs in the time that they've been in Oklahoma City. That should be the Seattle Sonics. So, like, that part sucks. I hate Indiana, as you guys know. So I guess I'm wondering if my feeling on this series is like a lot of folks, and that is there's nothing to get you go seek it out and find it.
You said the Sonics, and it made me realize how much I miss Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. It was so fun. What a great duo that was.
They had another group that was really fun, too, before that, and then there was another one after it. The Ray Allen, Rashard Lewis teams were really fun.
Yeah, but Sean Kemp and Gary Payton was my heyday. That's when I really loved basketball the most. But this is a thing, and it's a predictable thing, Bo. We said this was going to happen. We said that there was no draw with these two teams and no real rooting interest. I don't have a rooting interest. I know that. I would kind of like to see OKC and SGA win this because I think that could be the beginning of a dynasty possibly in the NBA with this team as young as it is and all the draft capital they have moving forward and whatnot, that maybe this might be like the start of the next great thing in sports, and that would be cool to see the beginning of that. But yeah, there's just no real draw here.
Prior to Sunday's New York-Boston series finale, this is a baseball topic here. Red Sox pitcher Hunter Dobbins made it known he would never play in pinstripes, telling Gabrielle Starr of the Boston Herald, quote, "My dad was a diehard Red Sox fan, and I've said it before, that if the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I'd retire." Yankees skipper Aaron Boone was asked about those comments before Sunday's game.
He's young. We'll leave it at, I mean...
Do you expect it to go around your clubhouse?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a dig at our players, and so it's an interesting comment as a player to make that, but I think it's just a comment of his love of his team is all. So a little funny.
Dobbins, a righty, got the start on Sunday. He also got the win. Boston beat New York 11-7. Dobbins, 5 innings, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs. Aaron Judge got him with a 2-run shot in the first. But again, the Red Sox take Sunday's game. A thing or not a thing?
Fun thing. Not a big deal. Like, I like how Aaron Boone played that off. Like, come on, this what do you want? It's fine. It's not a big deal. I think it was fun. It looked like Aaron Judge took it a little personal with the home run in the first. That seemed like it. By the way, like, how long has Aaron Boone been the manager of the Yankees? It's a lot longer than I think, isn't it?
Probably.
Is it like 10 plus years?
I would say that it is 10 plus
2018.
years. Wow.
Oh, 2018.
Not as long as we thought.
Oh, I thought it was 10 plus. Okay. Yeah.
I think this is a thing because it's the cool thing with a rivalry like this, right? It's not a thing in the fact that if nobody else was offering Hunter Dobbins a contract and the Yankees did, guess what? He would sign that contract, so he still had a job and was playing in Major League Baseball. But it's just Red Sox-Yankees will always be one of the great rivalries in sports. And, hey, good for him. He went out and backed it up and got the win.
It's funny. I used to know, like, every Yankee. I had forgotten Joe Girardi was there for that whole run and got that. He got the one World Series since Joe Torre. So Torre had it, and then Girardi, and now Boone. And that's the way that it's gone. All right, final hour of the week. Amanda Christovich going to join us at 11:30. We'll blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Road trip!
This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings because you're driving to Paris,
Texas!
Then it's off to Rome,
Georgia!
And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Check out this amazing deal on Kellogg's cereal. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Check it.
Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double.
Check it.
Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Cabinets and lighting fixtures, too. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Pop Road in Whitehall. 24-month financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends June 22nd. Dealers welcome.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The second leg in the battle for the Ohio Cup starts tonight in Cleveland. The Guardians host the Reds at 6:40. You can hear that game on the Fan tonight following the Buckeyes show. Redlegs won the previous series back in May by sweeping all 3 games with the Guardians. In the NHL tonight, the Panthers host the Oilers in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Face-off from sunrise is 8 o'clock. The best of 7 is even at a game apiece. The Panthers will also host Game 4 Thursday night at 8 o'clock. In the NFL, mandatory minicamp begins Tuesday for the Browns, Bengals, and the Steelers. They're expected to have their new quarterback Aaron Rodgers in attendance for the 3-day camp. The 41-year-old Rodgers signed a 1-year deal with Pittsburgh worth more than $13 million. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour on a Monday. Time to blitz the weekend. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present a Weekend Sports Blitz.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations: Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
I believe I had that. What did you have, Bake?
I believe I had way back at the NHL trade deadline that the Florida Panthers getting Brad Marchand would be huge for them. Maybe not in the regular season, but in the playoffs. And, man, he has been spectacular for them, just doing Brad Marchand things. That third line with him and Lundell and Luosterainen, that might be the best line on the ice and maybe in the NHL right now. They have just been so good. And, of course, he gets the double overtime game winner the other night. He just might be the difference in this series.
So you just knew it. You just knew it, right?
While that game was going on, the NCAA decided to release a bevy of statements and changes to college athletics in the wake of House versus NCAA settlement being approved by Judge Claudia Wilken out in California. I did have that it would actually raise more questions than provide answers, and we've since read parts of that settlement agreement, and we'll continue to talk more about it until, well, they do revenue sharing on July 1st. You've got to have rosters finalized with your grandfathered roster your grandfathered players by June 6th for the upcoming football season. So until the end of time, we'll be talking about what this means. But yeah, I just have more questions now.
Yeah, that's Band-Aid on a hemorrhage. I believe I had Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers done. A lot of people had Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. This is not a pat yourself on the back situation, but I've always contended that it's been done, and they knew they were getting him, and he knew he was going there. Once Minnesota said thanks but no thanks, he was going to play football in Pittsburgh, and my hunch is when he gets to mandatory minicamp today in Pittsburgh, that you will see a guy who knows what he's doing with the offense, because my guess is they've talked about it a lot. And I don't think it's going to be learning everything brand new today. My guess is he's probably already got a pretty good handle about what to be expected from Arthur Smith's offense there. I did not have that. What did you not have, Bake?
I did not have that I would possibly make the best purchase of my life this weekend.
Oh, my God. What a bold statement.
And it's probably a bad job out of me, but sitting on the bleachers all those days at the softball tournament, it can be a little rough on your tuchus. Mm-hmm. So the first day, I got through the first 4 games. I got there for game number 1 on Thursday. I'm like, there's no way I can get through the rest of this weekend. So I immediately got on Amazon, searched seat cushions, bought a memory foam seat cushion that was $16 on Amazon with the extra shipping to get it there quickly. It was $28 in total. By 7 a.m. the next morning, it was at my hotel, and my tuchus was feeling fine the rest of the weekend.
I didn't have Nick Chubb to the Texans. I figured that was not going to be a chance he'd come back to Cleveland, but I didn't think he'd go to Houston. I'm happy for him the more I think about it, because if he can catch on with that and make the 53, I know they've got like 17 running backs right now. Mm-hmm. A couple of them were out. I know mixed time with injury last season, but if that's a team that makes a deep playoff run, I think I've picked my team, because the Browns aren't making the playoffs. But if the Texans do, I can at least hope Nick Chubb maybe gets a shot at a Super Bowl. Maybe.
I think a lot of people thought it would be. I mean, I had heard from his people that it was Chicago was kind of the lean, but then Chicago addressed running back in the draft, and maybe that changed things. I didn't have the Stanley Cup final being, through 2 games, the best Stanley Cup final in the history of the Stanley Cup final. They've been playing it a long time, but that's what you're getting. If you watch these games and you watch the one tonight, and I'm guessing it'll be the same, it's a Game 7 feel from the first puck drop until the last puck goes in the net. In the first 2 games, it's been overtime and double overtime. So it's been spectacular sport. So if you're looking to jump in, do so. You'll be glad that you did. Player who impressed, Bake?
It's Jenna Molk. Jenna Molk is a junior shortstop for Dover who won the Division III state championship. She went 5 for 7 at the plate this weekend in their final game win over Holland Springfield. She hit 2 home runs, becoming the 3rd player in state tournament history to hit 2 home runs in a game. Oh, yeah, she's a pitcher as well, too. She came in and got the save in both of their wins. She pitched 4 innings, gave up no runs, struck out 6. Buckeye fans, get used to the name, because she's going to be in the Scarlet and Gray after next season.
That's very cool.
Roy McIlroy, baby, what is you doing? He missed the cut over the weekend at the RBC Canadian Open. It was a 1-over on Friday. Like, okay, maybe bounce back. Or 1-over Thursday at his first round. Yeah. Maybe bounce back on Friday. 8-over, 78 for Friday. It included a quadruple bogey, a double bogey, several regular bogeys, and only 2 birdies in that round. He told reporters afterwards that maybe it was messing with his driver that did him in.
About that.
Boy, the week before the U.S. Open is not the best time to be experimenting like that, you would think.
No.
Considering what you will need at Oakmont Thursday. Your driver.
I'm going to go Sovereignty, the Kentucky Derby winning horse, who I wish he would have raced the Preakness, because maybe he would have been a super horse.
Makes me so angry that he didn't.
Yeah, it sucks, because he could have won maybe he could have won a Triple Crown. I will say journalism was incredible, and I'd be curious to know I hope the 2 of them race in the Travers, which will be in August, I want to say, because I'd love to see them with both having the same amount of rest. But his stretch run in the Belmont was really cool, and to see Sovereignty and journalism battle down the stretch was very cool. Player who disappointed, Vic?
For me, it's the whole Pittsburgh Pirates organization. They are just wasting Paul Skeens. The other night, he goes 7 innings, gives up 1 run. Now, they get the win against the Phillies, but he gets a no decision. On the season, the Pirates are 26-40. Last place, even worse than my Reds in the National League Central. Skeens on the year, 14 starts, a record of 4-6, despite having a 1.88 ERA, 92 strikeouts in 91 innings, and a .84 WHIP. Man, he's going to look good in pinstripes or Dodger blue someday.
Well, he's it reminds me of Felix Hernandez. Remember him? King Felix in Seattle, when those teams were just awful, and he would go 7-11 with a 2.1 ERA.
Won the Cy Young with a under 500 record.
That's what it reminds me of. Go ahead, Reese.
I'm disappointed in me because I did the segment wrong.
It's all good.
I was impressed with Denny Hamlin. He won the Firekeepers Casino 400 Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. And then he proceeded to give Michigan Motor Speedway fans an OHIO.
Big Buckeye fan is Denny.
After celebrating that win.
Well,
so I was impressed with him, disappointed with me and Rory for our performances. Rory's performance on Friday, my performance a minute ago.
He was... at least he's honest about it. He's been a Buckeye fan since 2024. So, long time.
It's a good time to jump on that bandwagon, brother.
Good time to jump on that bandwagon. Yeah, a lot of King Felix vibes. I'm pulling up some of these King Felix numbers. He most of the time had a winning record during the majority of his big-time stretch. But, yeah, there's a lot of that with Skeens. Player who disappointed for me, it's all of the players at the worldwide leader. They're doing a disservice to Shedeur Sanders. Like I heard Dan Orlovsky, who's great, and we've had him on, and he's been on the show I do in the afternoon a lot, but he's talking about how Shedeur would be perfect for the Browns because of all of the things that he does in the Stefanski offense. If that were the case, they would have taken him in the 3rd round. It's not to suggest that he can't get there, but they're continually putting him in these conversations as if he's in the mix to be the starter week 1, and it's just not realistic, and it's tiresome. Talk about something else. Curate another storyline to push. Shedeur's doing great, but he is got a long way to go. It's a big project up there with him. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Bake?
To me, it's Brian Kendall. He's the head coach of the Lebanon Warriors. They win the Division I state championship this year. First time in school history. He's built a heck of a program in his 21 years there. This was the 6th time that they had been to the state tournament. 3 times they had been runner-up. In 21 years of softball, Coach Kendall has a 505-85 record.
DC Defenders head coach Shannon Harris is my coach of the week. They beat St. Louis, the Battlehawks, 36-18 in the XFL Conference Championship game over the weekend. They'll now play the Michigan Panthers in the UFL title game. Be sure to mark this on your calendars. Saturday, June 14th. It's at 8 p.m. on ABC.
I'm going to split mine between Sankey and Yormark. The Big 12 commissioner and the SEC commissioner. They're doing the work out loud, and they're fighting for their constituents. And this is a situation where you have to sway public opinion, and I think it is borderline criminal that you don't ever hear from the Big Ten boss. That I get to hear from Ryan Day on 4 automatic qualifiers when it doesn't even have anything to do with Ohio State. That you got to hear from Ross Bjork. Where is Petiti, and where is his fight for the Big Ten, the way that Sankey and Yormark are fighting for their leagues? If it's all happening behind closed doors, I suppose that's fine, but I think this battle needs to be fought publicly and out loud, and he has been quiet on all of it. Speaking of Ross Bjork, he released a statement on the 36 Sports. We were curious about that. We'll have that statement for you, and we await the Michigan penalties. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Lindsay Automotive is Central Ohio's big certified pre-owned outlet. LindsayCertified.com makes it easy to find the right car at the right price. All models include certified warranties and inspections, new car financing, and more.
Up to 1,000 pre-owned to choose from.
No matter what kind of vehicle you're looking for, Lindsay has it. Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. You'll love the shopping experience, whether online or in person.
Shop LindsayCertified.com.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered with service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm getting married today.
You may now kiss the bride.
I'm also a firefighter and first responder. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're also making sure I can get to my wedding ceremony, start the next chapter of my life.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Let's all give them room to work. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds. Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
T-Bone and Tybus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And join us for the inaugural 971 The Fan, the race presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It's a 5K run, 1 mile walk. It's happening June 21st at Otterbein. Some of your favorite fan personalities will be there. Tybus will be there. Man will be there. Bone will be there. Reese will be there. How many of those folks are participating, Reese?
All of them. Just varying lengths that they'll run/walk. He will be walking.
God bless.
I don't know the distance, but
Okay.
I can't guarantee you the distance. We're still 2 weeks out from this thing. So Tyvis is also, I'll be there, but I think because Tyvis can't work out or perspire until that Saturday.
Yeah, don't let that I can't sweat excuse.
Well, so this is what he told me. He said, I'll be good to go Saturday. I'm like, what are you going to be good to go to do? He's like, I'm good to go to run. I'm like, I don't know what that means, man.
And by the way, I'd be in the same boat as Man. Like, I don't just run arbitrarily. I have to chase a ball or something. I can't. I've never been able to. I had a brief stretch in Florida where I would like run like 2 miles every morning, but it was one of those things that as soon as I got off the wagon, I never got back on.
What's the furthest you've ever run?
That
just the mile,
dude. You're talking to a guy who hit the wall in the 100 meters at the district track championships his senior year of high school, and the only reason I literally ran out of gas.
You hit a literal wall.
Well, not literal, but pretty damn close. Like, you could see me being done. And the only reason I did it is so my brother wouldn't win Male Athlete of the Year as a sophomore over me as a senior. And you had to participate in 3 sports. You haven't heard this, Bake?
No.
I haven't heard this.
Okay. Senior year of high school, in order to win the school's Male Athlete of the Year, one of the prerequisites, by the way, I should say, every participant gets a finisher's medal, race t-shirt, free photos, awesome gifts from Logan Services, Raising Cane's, the 971 fan. The race is presented by the Ohio State Medical Center and is sponsored by Impact Health and Wellness, specializing in regenerative medicine, weight loss, and home run therapy to help define your wellness goals. Sign up today at 971thefan.com. So in order to win Male Athlete of the Year in our school, you had to participate in all 3 sports. You had to do football, basketball, track. And we didn't have high school baseball. You played Legion baseball because I think the season was too short. So you had to do all 3. So my senior year, my brother was a sophomore. He and I were both first team All-State in football. I was first team All-Region in basketball. He was second team All-Region in basketball. And so it comes down to track. And my football coach was the athletic director. My basketball coach was basically the assistant athletic director, and he was the track coach. And I said, do I really have to do track? I've never done it. I have no interest in doing it. And they're like, yeah, if you want to win this thing, you've got to do it. And so then I went to my brother and I said, dude, are you really going to play track? You really going to do this? He's like, yeah, I love it. Oh, I love the 200. Who loves the 200? I love the long jump. I'm a high jumper. Okay, great. Fantastic. So this jerk decides that he's going to do it. He's going to do track. And he's actually pretty good at it. Fine. So I say to my basketball coach, who's the track coach, I say, look, I'm not going to these practices, man. Like, I'm not doing it. And so he's like, all right, listen. You're going to do like some post-basketball. I know you're going to do some post-basketball, like all-star basketball stuff, like around the state. Like they had the kind of every weekend they had like a post-season basketball for like recruiting and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do all that. He's like, but you got to go to practice. So all I did was like hang out on the, I think it was called a porta pit, which was like the big pad that you jump on for high jump. I would just kind of hang out over there. Like I didn't do anything. So it gets to the district meet and then I would fake injuries. It gets to district meet and my coach is like, dude, you're running. I'm like, what do you mean I'm running? He's like, you have to do a race or you did not participate in track and field. So I'm like, fine. He's like, what do you want to do? I'll do the 100. It's over the quickest. Let's just do that. So he's like, fine. So we go to the 100. I'd never gone out of a starting block in my life. I didn't even know how to set them up. I had no clue. A buddy of mine from a rival school is like one of the fastest guys in the district. And I'm like, dude, can you help me with this? Like, he's like, what? I'm like, dude, I've never gone out of the blocks. He goes, what are you doing in the 100 meters? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, it's over quickest. It's over quickest. Like, let's just be done with it. So we did it. I somehow got the blocks in and the gun went off and my start was okay. But I swear to God, about 60 meters, I ran out of gas. And I am literally flailing to run 100 meters to finish. Now, it was enough. Now, the bigger humiliation happened because I also had to run the 200, and I was in the same heat as my brother. And so because I had no times, I had to start like all the way out around the corner. You. Oh, dude. He's 6'5", too. He got me. He had passed me by the 100-meter mark. And on that stagger, that doesn't take very long. So I finished dead last in my heat in the 200, and I got bombed in the 100. But I did win the thing. I did get it.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Like you participated in those 2 events.
2 events.
Nobody remembers how those
2
went.
races.
Right, those 2 races. Nobody remembers how all of that went, but you won, Male Athlete of the Year?
I did win that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You
And
got
he won it the
you
next
have a
2
cool
years.
medal for that?
It's a plaque.
Oh, nice.
Really nice plaque. Yeah,
Did you put it in like the family room just so your brother would have to see it every day?
No, because then he won the next 2.
Oh.
Why isn't the plaque next to Sherman?
Should have been right there. Should be right there. Yeah. So, well, anyway, that's how it all went down. And now I got Tyvus.
Yeah, here he
Run
comes.
the 100. Now he wants all of it because I'm slow, dude. I couldn't just run arbitrarily. I have to chase things. I got to be a ball involved, and then I can run all day. Like that's fine. Yeah, it was brutal. We did get this from Ross Bjork. We were wondering, like, could you possibly keep all of these sports? So Ross answered that with vigor via Ohio State Buckeyes on the social. The signing of the House settlement Friday by Judge Claudia Wilken will reshape college athletics. Ohio State and schools around the country will now be permitted to go directly to compensate student athletes through revenue sharing, which is actually institutional NIL rights. The Department of Athletics will fully fund the revenue sharing program, which will total $20.5 million, include funding for additional scholarships for both women's and men's sports. We remain committed to maintaining the student athlete model, offering 36 intercollegiate sports and providing scholarships to all 36. God bless. I don't understand how you can stay on the level with football if you're doing that, though. It's just money. How's that going to work? How can you possibly do that when you're funding 36 of them off 20.5?
I'm guessing it's going to be
school, but like
it's going to be heavy NIL, right? Like our football burden. Portion to you from revenue is smaller, but you are going to get more NIL.
But then the brunt falls on the boosters, and they're taxed.
I think there's so much fatigue there already.
Or do they put a full court blitz on businesses in Central Ohio saying, hey, we need...
I think they've already done that, Bake. I don't know. God bless him. I do not envy him. The job is going to be very difficult trying to spread this around. But just the math, the straight math of 36 varsity sports versus 17, that share of the pie is split differently. I mean, it just is. So I don't know how he
to his point, I hope he gets it done. I hope they're able to change nothing with Ohio State's athletic department. From what he's saying, this sounds like he's the perfect person to do it because you do need somebody that's got the will to make it work. Good luck. I hope it works. But this has to be business decisions moving forward, not, I mean, it's your heart or it's your pride messing with you. Like, those decisions are going to have to be removed of those.
Somebody said this to I read this maybe last week about all of these sports that are not revenue generating, and the reality is it was in regard to the SEC trying so hard in baseball and softball as they had over the last decade or so. And he said this is all pretty simple. You care about the sports that you want, and it just kind of is. Like there's going to come a decision to decide where this money is going to go. And the vast majority of it has to go to football and basketball. But then they're going to open themselves up for all sorts of, I would imagine, Title IX litigation as well. I don't know. We'll get some answers to this with Amanda Christovich. She joins us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
we've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right. Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com to get started. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get smarter, kids. And I think she's the smartest in the business on the topic. Amanda Christovich, our guest, Business of Sports for Front Office Sports, joining us. Amanda, you're on a Zoom call. We got a lot going on. This is a Friday news dump if we're ever going to have one. 9:30 Eastern, this thing comes down. 5:30 Pacific, even late, considering it was on the West Coast for them. Your initial reaction to this getting done was what?
I wasn't super surprised, honestly. I mean, I was certainly my initial reaction was, are you kidding me? Friday night, like 9:30? That was my initial reaction. But no, I really wasn't super surprised because the judge had made it clear that she really wanted to approve the House settlement, and she really wanted to she really wanted to give it her stamp of approval. The only thing she was still concerned about was the issue of roster limits. And so that was like the big question mark. But ultimately, like, the settlement was so massive that I couldn't see her not approving it after, sort of a change was made to ameliorate the issue of roster limits. So, I wasn't shocked.
Amanda, as I'm reading some of the reporting on this and a lot of yours, every time I read a sentence, I get a question. I'm like, well, what about this? So I want to get to all of that with you, but I also don't want to be flip with how big this is. I mean, we are going to pay college athletes their a predetermined share, and I guess that gets into the questioning exactly in terms of how they're going to arbitrarily decide this number, and this is what it is. But we're going to pay college athletes for the first time ever. So that is a can of worms that's now opened. As you just got done listening to the conference commissioners, how confident are they that this is where this will stop? And then how big is that part of it, that for the first time ever, college athletes will be compensated from the universities legally?
Yeah, the commissioners all seem to be on board with it at this point. I mean, they couldn't possibly act like they aren't, given, that the sort of court of public opinion thinks that the players should get paid some of the billions of dollars that they generate, right? They are trying to make sure that this is as far as the changes in college sports compensation go. However, Greg Sankey spoke about getting Congress to be involved. That's something we've been talking about for several years now. It's not new news, and they talk about what their wish list is in Congress. But let me just be honest with you. What they really want is to halt the athletes' rights movement. They want to make sure they can take back control, and that any other changes or modifications to the college sports business model would be up to them. And when I say them, whether the NCAA, the power conferences, or some other, the College Sports Commission, this new entity, I'm not sure. But they don't want the players and the lawsuits to decide this anymore. Congress has made no progress over the last several years after the millions of dollars that they've spent on lobbying. So I'm not sure they're going to be successful at that, but clearly they're still hopeful.
The first thing that jumps out, among a million, but among the first thing that jumps out to me is, okay, 20 million or 20 and a half, whatever it is, and per year that's going to go to to pay players, but it's all of Division I. So we're still trying to act like you're governing Ohio State the same way you're governing the University of Ohio, or Ohio University rather. So that just seems impossible to me for those two things to operate under the same plane. And then just arbitrarily deciding on a number. Obviously, this is something in professional sports we'd collectively bargain a percentage of money that goes to players. How do they avoid litigation going forward? I mean, to me, this feels like you just almost created a new set of issues.
Well, they absolutely have created a new set of issues. And what was particularly interesting about the 76-page opinion that Judge Wilkin published on Friday night at 9:30 p.m. that I had to read at 9:30 p.m.
I'm with you. It's crazy.
Was that she explicitly said that athletes are free to sue for damages resulting from potential lost earnings based on the revenue sharing cap, the lost ability to play based on roster limits, and even Title IX. She made it clear to write that in her opinion that, you can still challenge damages, or you can still ask for damages for these issues. So I think the question isn't whether or not players or collectives or anybody else is going to sue to challenge the health settlement rules. I think we can assume that is going to be the case. I think then the question becomes, does the settlement hold up in court? Especially, in this way of challenging these rules for damages versus trying to get an antitrust more specific ruling on them, or new injunctive relief or whatever. So I think, the question isn't if, it's when, and it depends on which judges are, what the new judges are going to say, because Judge Wilkin is retiring.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so the next part of this is we got a new boss in college sports. We got a college sports commission. We got a guy he's Wyatt Earp. He's going to fix all of this in one fell swoop. How are they going to investigate wrongdoing? How is he going to enforce it? And what can you tell us about our new Wyatt Earp of college sports?
Yeah, so Brian Seeley, former MLB executive, he, and in the political realm, he's got a lot of experience with investigating, issues inside sports and outside sports. Okay. What I'm gonna tell you, I want to say that I don't want to assign this blame to Brian Seeley because it appears he was hired hours ago, days ago, well, at least a couple of days ago, but I don't know. We don't know how they're going to enforce this. We have the information theoretically about how the clearinghouse is going to work to adjudicate whether or not the NIL deals are pay for play or not, because that's part of the settlement now. But we don't know what the punishments are going to be. Literally, I asked the commissioners what the punishments were going to be today, and ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips said he didn't know. He said they haven't figured it out yet, that's going to be under Brian Seeley's purview. So we don't know what the punishments are going to be. And then I said, okay, so how are you preparing to be sued? How are you preparing for people to sue you because they're upset about the decisions that are made through this clearinghouse, on antitrust grounds? Because the power conferences are getting schools to sign a memo saying that they won't sue, but the schools are just one party. I mean, the schools aren't really a party to it at all. It's the players, the collectives, the companies, even the state attorneys general. So, how are you going to get them to not sue? Also, didn't know the answer to that. Had conversations working on it. I was like, okay, fantastic. I'll call Brian Seeley in 2 weeks, which, by the way, I already put a request in to interview him, and we'll see how long it takes for them to set that up for me. I mean, the guy's got to, he's got to show up. He's got to show up to his office first. I'm not, but it's crazy.
But we all knew this was coming, and they don't have an answer on any of it. It's almost like, what were they doing? I will say this. you mentioned Yormark answered your question, and Sankey is front and center. I mean, he's with the ND, the Notre Dame athletic director, and they're meeting with Trump. And Sankey, if Feinbaum's on, Sankey's going to come on and talk about it, and he's everywhere. I don't know that Tony Petit – did Tony Petitti talk? I never hear him say anything. Is he alive? Did you get, like, proof of life from Tony Petitti?
I did. I took a picture. I took a screenshot of the. You can find it on my Twitter at @Christovich with an extra H. I took a picture of, and it's the former Power Five. So Teresa Gould was on there as well, by the way. Yeah, I would say Sankey spoke 70% of the time. Petitti said like one or two things. Obviously he is an MLB guy, so he had a lot of positive things to say about Brian Seeley. But I mean, look, I personally haven't confirmed this, but all the rumors suggest that, the automatic qualifier, what is it, the 4-4-2-1 situation was Petitti's idea, but Sankey's the one getting all the heat for it. So, I think for a lot of folks don't have a lot of pity for Greg Sankey, given how much power he has. But at the very least, that wasn't theoretically his idea. And Petitti is just kind of, he wasn't at the center of the screen. Let's just put it that way.
No, nor is he ever. Talking to the great Amanda Christovich, great friend of the program, business of sports, front office sports, best in the business. I'll get you out of here on this one. We have a statement from Ross Bjork, the athletic director at Ohio State, that their intent is to keep all 36 varsity sports. Obviously, around here, they want to make sure that football is compensated number one, and they got to sort that out. How will individual schools decide who gets what of this $20.5 million, at least for now, until they tear this up and they get sued and more things change?
So all the commissioners did say, well, this is something Petitti spoke to. All the commissioners said that they are allowing the schools to make these decisions themselves. They're not putting out a conference requirement, and that's probably for legal reasons as well. But I think, it sounds like everyone makes the decision based on how much revenue the sports are generating, which, in a way is fair. So it's like I spoke with, Texas Tech lost the softball championship, but I spoke with their AD last week, and he was like, okay, well, football makes 73% of our full athletic department revenue, so we're going to give 70% of the revenue sharing allocation to football. Softball makes 1%, we're going to give 1% to softball. He said, but Olympic sports like softball are growing, and we are incentivized to increase their revenue and increase how much revenue they're bringing in. Therefore, that number will probably grow. Obviously, not every program is going to take that approach, but I think the smart programs are going to realize that cutting sports is not going to be worth the PR nightmare that saving $300,000 to run some of these Olympic sports is going to give them back.
Amanda, you're the very best in the business. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time on a very, very busy day. We greatly appreciate you.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, there she goes, Amanda Christovich, business of sports, front office sports. She's so good at this. I read her stuff, I want to say in Wall Street Journal years ago, and she just was locked in on it, and she's been coming on with us for the last 4 or 5 years, and every time she comes on, you get smarter. And it's nice that somebody really smart like her has a lot of the same questions that we have. Wait, what about this? But what about this? And there's one of those to every single one of these line items in this settlement. We get 3 things on a Monday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here, and I remember the first time I understood that old saying about giving a man a fish. It made so much sense, and I see examples of it all the time. Take the new weight loss meds, for instance. Think about this. You take a shot, you eat less, and you lose weight. But the second you stop, the weight comes back. You never actually changed anything besides eating less of the same bad things. I wasn't interested in renting my results. I wanted to own them. That's why I chose Awaken 180. I needed a lifestyle change, I knew it, and I was excited about it. A medication-free path to long-term weight loss. That's exactly what I got. It's been a year and a half since I dropped my 50 pounds, and I've kept it all off. Awaken 180 taught me how to adjust my approach to food. A real-time education on how to keep it off while losing the weight. I say, learn how to fish. It's easy, it's fast, and for the long-term bonus, no medications. Do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com, 844-346-1800.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3 podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send Bobby right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
Trust. It's something we all value, but also something that's hard to earn, especially when it comes to your home. In a city like Columbus with so many contractors to choose from, how do you know who to trust with one of your biggest investments? At Newman Roofing, we believe trust starts with character and continues with consistent results. As a family-owned and operated company, we built our reputation on hiring good people, value-driven professionals who treat your home with the same care and respect they'd give their home. Our team is committed to delivering a true white glove experience. That means paying attention to the details, communicating clearly, and doing the job right the first time. We use only the highest quality products, installed with precision and backed by proven techniques. That's how we ensure you'll feel confident not just today, but for years to come. And we don't just ask you to take our word for it. With over 770 five-star reviews on Google, you can read story after story from homeowners just like you who trusted Newman Roofing and had their expectations exceeded. When it comes to roofing, gutters, or siding, call the local company built around family, values, and integrity. Newman Roofing. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, has college athletes getting paid via NIL and now revenue sharing lessen your experience of how you follow college athletics? 63% say no.
No, I even struggle with that here because, I don't want to inundate you with it. And so I think there's a balance. Because I think most people just want to talk ball, right? It's what most people kind of want is they want that. Are the Buckeyes going to be good? You're all going to tune in. There's just so much chaos behind the sport right now. And I think this House settlement just adds to it. And if you want a really good synopsis of how it all went down, I know we'll put it up on the socials. Amanda Christovich just on it on the program with us discussing it. And she's been all over this. She's like a one-woman beat on this thing, so as good as can be on it. So there you go on that side of things. All right, time for three things on a Monday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
So number one for me, I mentioned this off the top. So my wife and the two littles, we had a birthday party up at the lake, Sandusky area on Saturday, and then NBC and I came home, and my wife and the two littles went up to the lake, up to the condo, and they cruised up there. And then I dropped NBC off for a basketball camp on Sunday at like 4 o'clock. So I get back from doing that, and I'm looking around. It's just like me and Buddy Garrity. I'm like, wow, just me and you, dude. Like, that's it. Like, nobody else is here. Like, just me and you. So I was reminded that he is, in fact, that's why man's best friend, very loyal, was into whatever I wanted to do. He wanted to watch Narcos with me. Great. And as a reward, I was kind of hankering for a filet. So I had one of those. I cooked the boy a filet. I got Buddy a filet. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, Buddy, how good is that, man? Isn't that great? Thinking he would savor it. He swallowed the thing in one bite.
Yeah, his
whole
no.
thing went
Didn't
down.
even chew.
No chewing.
No, and then he's like, Dad, where's more? And then he was like wanting some of mine. And I'm like, dude, you just had yours. Why would you not chew that? What are you doing, man? Like, this is it. There is no more.
Yeah, I learned it early on with Odie. Like, in anything that you would like him to at least try to savor, and it's a very ambitious undertaking. When, like, I'd like you to enjoy a little bit, you just cut it into the smallest pieces possible. And then you just give it to him in, like, instances. Like, a little bit here, and then he'll come to you, like, more? And you're like, yeah, I got you more, but...
Just swallowed it.
Yeah, it's one of those things they'll never truly appreciate what they have in front of them.
No.
Well, they're animals.
I guess.
So it's known that the President of the United States likes to talk a lot, right? And Greg Sankey and Pete Vivacqua, Notre Dame's athletic director, played golf with President Trump over the weekend. Well, Sankey was asked earlier this morning about playing with the president. Quote, I've always appreciated his interest in college sports. It was helpful for me and Pete to hear his thoughts, share ours. Those are best left for the moment on the golf course. This I'll say to Sankey, because the president likes to talk so much. Remember what he did with Nick Saban, where he kind of just threw him out there as czar of college sports, and Saban's like, no, I have no interest in that. It would behoove you, Greg Sankey, to make everything that you guys talked about known publicly and your thoughts on it before the president gives you his thoughts and puts you in positions you've got to then talk yourself out of.
Going to get a 15+1 model. Notre Dame's always
right.
in,
We didn't agree to
record.
that. Well, the president said you did.
How in the hell is Notre Dame there and Petitti's not? What is he? You have one job, man, and it's the Notre Dame AD and Sankey.
First thing for me, congratulations to the 6 first-time state champions at the state softball tournament this year. Lebanon, Paynesville, Riverside, Dover, Kenton Ridge, Tri-Village, and Portsmouth Notre Dame. I know there's been pros and cons to the OHSAA expanding divisions, but this is one of the reasons, I think, and it's not the whole reason there were 6 first-time champions, but it is pretty cool to see those kids experience that for the first time. A lot of other teams were in a state tournament for the first time. Also, congratulations to Watterson. They won the lacrosse state championship this weekend. That gives them 4 for this school year: football, lacrosse, wrestling, and girls soccer. And I don't know about all those sports, but football has most of those guys coming back.
That's interesting. Olentangy Liberties had a run like that too, where like they have a couple of classes that are just bonkers. So that Watterson has got some big time athletes, obviously.
Belisari's and Ulenakes, that'll help.
Oh, yeah, that helps. that makes it pretty. That makes it better easy. Number 2 for me. Did you guys see Phil Mickelson's shot in the Live? I watched none of the Live.
Ridiculous.
Oh no, I didn't.
Phil Mickelson,
amazing.
I don't even know how I would have no clue. He made it. He's in a bunker. He chipped the ball out of the sand over his shoulder, and it went in. It was like a trick shot.
He was basically perpendicular to the flag.
Yeah. And it just got me jacked up for the U.S. Open. I'm excited for the U.S. Open at Oakmont because it's crazy. I've watched all the stuff of it, and they've taken all of the trees out, which is kind of startling to look at that it's just completely empty, and there's like quite literally a freeway. It's the turnpike is running right through Oakmont, and so like you see cars right by. It's also strange, but how diabolical! Like a 16 on a stimp meter for a putt for greens is just diabolical.
Did you see the rough?
I did.
Oh my gosh,
DeChambeau, when he hit it into it, and it took 3 people to find it, and his ball was buried under this mound of rough, and I thought, no way. I don't know if I'd like that if I was a member, though. Like having the whole course, like there's no intimacy to it. Like you could see the whole course everywhere you are, and I know a lot of them are doing that, but it's definitely a different feel.
But the members have to pay for a lot of those too. Like if it gets renovated, it's like, well, that's kind of on you guys. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. Also, not great is the NBA's attempt to make the finals court look serious with what looked like really, really low resolution images of the Larry O'Brien trophy on the court last night. Like, guys,
they superimposed it, right, Reese?
It looked was it? I see the images. They superimposed it. That's worse.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give a damn about your finals, please don't expect anybody else to, despite having 2 really talented basketball teams play and have good moments.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing for me, doing these state broadcasts is always so fun. One, just to be a part of it in the schools, but also to get to see other broadcasters who do what we do from around the state, and they do what they do at a really high level. It's really cool, too. And as Bo, you know, there's a lot of talented guys up in Cleveland. There's a lot of talented guys from around the state, and it's cool to watch those guys do what they do and kind of learn a little bit from them and take some pieces from everyone and help it try to make myself a better broadcaster.
Yeah, a lot of talent out there. No time for 3. We're up against it, kids. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common man, radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay -108 than -110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
I've been able to resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
With rates as low as 5.54% APR and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance with BMI Federal Credit Union, now is the perfect time to take advantage of the BMI FCU Summer Savings Event. Visit bmifcu.org/refinance for more details.
Check it. Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double. Check it. Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it. The Home Depot has fast, free delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad do more this Father's Day. Because Dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Power Dad's doing with Ryobi cordless outdoor power tools from the Home Depot. Like the Ryobi 40-volt string trimmer kit for $159. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February